So my sketchbook is almost finished and I've been working in this one for a few months. So I thought it would be fun to kind of go through it, do a sketchbook tour. To be fair, my sketchbooks are not very aesthetic. They're like really the main place where all my ideas start. And it's just a lot of messy sketching. So to make it more interesting, I thought I would also show you all the finished pieces that started in this book. And maybe that's a fun way to discover my process and how I work, and I hope you will be interested to see that. These first drawings were from a week when we went to draw in nature with our class. So this is school related, but it was still the beginning of the school year. Yeah, and we ended up making a zine of all these drawings we made, and then we made like collages with each other's drawings and one of our own. After this week I got really into painting trees on a vacation in Germany. Quickly after that I kept painting them. I should honestly get back into it. Yeah, these are from that time. And then this is the zine that we made with our class. It's not really my thing. I mean, it was fun. It's just, this was cute. So yeah, not all the works in here are mine, but I collaged them. Oh, if you see this tape, it's because I'm covering up some personal information. Yeah, you will see a lot of doodles. This one's fun. I might even still do a little project about this one, but we'll see. You will see it somewhere in a vlog if that happens. Yeah, but most of these never really made into anything, but it might still happen, you never know. This one's also a school thing. I took up a Riso class, and this was like my idea for like my first print really I ever made myself. It was also for in a collective zine, but I have just the single print here. It was about it was called What's in My Bag, and so I asked my teammates like, oh, can I make a comic about someone searching for her keys in her bag and then ending up in her bag. Which is something I really relate to. We scanned this manual with the Riso, so it's not perfect. It was also made traditional, pretty good for something not made with digital aims at all. I started working on another idea where I wanted to organize a Nintendo week at school. Now, for those who have had a Nintendo in their life, they know that the Nintendo 3DS, they have like a street pass function, so you can play together with other people. I wanted to kind of revive this, so my plan was to put posters all over the school and make people bring their Nintendo to school for a week to street pass and game together. Now this didn't really come alive until like 6 months after that, and then I started drafting the idea again, Riso printing that into this poster. And it did pretty well. Like, not a lot of people did it, but actually some, and we did a game together on the last week, and I got some street passes and fun things that, you know, don't really happen a lot anymore because not a lot of people bring Nintendos around casually. I wanted to experiment with like fonts, because even though I'm studying illustration, I'm not very experienced in graphic design. I like to do a lot of handwriting and own messy things. That's also what I did here. I wanted to recreate like the effect of writing on the Nintendo with the joystick. And it's always like super messy, so that's what I went for, and I tried to take a really grainy brush. And then here, this is also hand lettering, but I took really my time with it because I wanted to make some retro font and some structure. I knew for sure I wanted to use fluo pink as one of the colors because I wanted it to pop and, you know, really grab people's attention. And then I thought a really long time about my secondary color, ended up doing teal, and I think it works perfectly. I really like the purple it made. Will definitely love to try something like this again sometime. Yeah, more reso notes. This one is about one of my world buildings that I have. I have a comic in the making in my head that I sometimes like to make drawings of, to see what kind of styles I like, what kind of storylines work, and to maybe one day make a full book of. And this one's about one of my characters that lives in space and is in contact with a friend on Earth. Later, a few months after this drawing, I ended up making a one-page comic. You can also see me planning that in the sketchbook. These are some really rough drafts, but of course, from like the drawing I had already made, I had a pretty good plan already about what I wanted to do. And then I ended up making two parts kind of. So this is the one you just saw already. And then I made this one, which is about the friend on Earth. And then I combined it into one comic. So yeah, it's kind of fun to see how I can come up with a sketch and then half a year after that I will make a full concept of it. That's really what my sketchbook is for. It's not really for aesthetics, but more for storing ideas. Even though right now, because it is summer vacation, I am trying to do kind of a more aesthetic sketchbook, kind of missing the feeling of having a sketchbook where I worked out things more. So that's what I'm doing right now for the summer, but that's not really a school year thing. When I'm busy, it feels too much to... I'm already doing so much, why would I put so much work in my sketchbook? But yeah, I'm trying like more worked out things. I also like the way when you have a sketchbook, all the drawings are stored together, because I have so many loose papers already laying around in my room. So yeah, that's kind of my summer project where I'm trying to have a sketchbook that feels like one art piece again. Also some poems I like to write too. Yeah, I got really obsessed with drawing dogs. There's also a vlog coming where you can see me working on a really big painting / drawing of scary dogs. I think they're really cool. This is more world building stuff of the same character of the comic, the Space Boy. More notes in class and me drawing my classmates. I love drawing the people around me when I'm bored. Here I was testing new acrylic markers. Yeah, you can see how random these pages get sometimes, like... this one's also really cool. This is a character, this is actually this character, which is a main character, or one of the main characters of my comic idea. This one I ended up making a screen print of. I like the original way more, but it was a good experiment. Yeah, this was also during my break from school in I think February, and I wanted to participate into an open call for illustrating this like Dutch children's book. I made multiple drawings for that, so I think this one was allowed to just be a loose concept, so this one I finished digitally, so I don't have a print of that, but I ended up doing this sketch and making this background. I will maybe put the photograph in here so you can actually kind of see what I was trying to do there, but then I ended up putting this sketch on there digitally, color it, and this is supposed to like represent a beach that the character is playing on or something. Ah, look at him. So cute. And then we had to do one character design of the main character of the original book, which is a really, really sweet girl that loves the color dark blue. So this was my line art for that. And this ended up being my character design. And then as a little extra, I drew some frogs. These are some notes from a reading I was at about a zine collective. And I ended up doodling these when I was listening. And I love it so much. So I'm still thinking about doing something with that. Maybe a print, maybe a zine, I don't know. More class. Shout out to Josine, because I'm always drawing her in class. A concept for a zine that I haven't started yet. I've done some drawings on it though. A zine about that main character of my story I just showed you, Diane. Yeah, here I did some more concept ideas. I'm not very happy with it yet. But, you know, maybe in a future video you will see this being a concept. You're gonna see some fan art in this also. This is Aurora in her Tomora outfit. This was just before the school year was ending, and I decided I really wanted to make a poster of Phantom of the Opera, because I also am a really big fan of Phantom of the Opera. I am just figuring out now that really this whole part of my sketchbook is just fan art, and I think that's so fun because I used to make loads of it when I was younger, and then I really stopped doing that. But I think we should all do more things that we really loved doing as a child or when we were younger. So that's the spirit that I'm going for this summer. This poster idea was inspired by Art Nouveau posters that we saw in class, and I mean obviously I made my own swing on it. But yeah, this is what I ended up making. My plan is to digitally make, you know, there's a poster design, so maybe make it smaller, put like fonts on it with the title, and I want to make it like a fake musical poster. So, yeah, and then I started to get really fixated on vampires because I really love the show Interview with a Vampire. So yeah, I mean I also made fan art. I started to make loads of fan art, I think because the summer break started, and you know, I'm just trying to draw things that I want to draw, so. The other things that are still left in my sketchbook are commission things, so I can't really show you that, maybe one day, but yeah, that's my messy sketchbook. And I hope you maybe feel motivated to also have a messy sketchbook. Or just have a sketchbook in whatever way works for you. And this is what works for me. So, okay.